Now this is kind of like doing a souffle, but it doesn't have as many eggs and you don't have to have the fear of a souffle collapsing. And it's called a sformatino because it's made in these little molds. And what you want to do is butter those molds. Here's a couple. And you can use this aluminum type that comes from the grocery store. Or if you have little ramekins in your collection, use those. But the important thing is to make sure that you really butter them well. Butter them well, because you want the sformatino to definitely come out. So you butter them well, and then I like to give them just a little bit of Parmesan cheese around the inside, just to coat the inside. Take out the excess. And then I put the molds in the refrigerator to get cold. Okay, so zucca means squash or pumpkin in Italian. And here we have the butternut squash because that's what everybody can get. And you want about 1 cup of cooked squash. So all I did was cut the squash up, put it on a baking dish with a little bit of water, put it in the oven with some foil, and just baked it until it was soft. Or you could do this in the microwave. So you want to take the seeds out and then take the pulp. I'm going to take the pulp out and put it into a bowl. So I need about, a cup, a really good cup of cooked squash. Okay, I think that looks like about a cup, don't you? And now we're going to gussy this up. This just plain squash we're going to make very, very special because we're going to use some heavy cream and some cookies. So let me get the cookies ready next. So here are our cookies. These are called amaretti. And those are those bitter and sweet almonds. And here I have them in a bag. And we need to smash them up. So you just want to break them up with a rolling pin, roll over them, or you could put them like in a little mini food processor. And then after they're smashed, add them to the squash. That's easy enough. Then we want some heavy cream. So here we have a cup of heavy cream. This is going to give this really an elegant taste. And 3 eggs. How quick is this? Once you have the squash made, this is in the oven. 3 eggs. Add some cheese. You want about, 2/3 of a cup of cheese. And then I just think this works better than a food processor because it really makes a nice emulsion. Can you hear all that crackling going on? You want to get this very, very smooth. This is just very delicate. So you can either use something like this, you could use a food processor, or you could use a hand mixer. I'm going to turn up the speed now because I really want everything to be really well mixed. That looks good. And the nice thing about this is it washes up very easily. I'm going to set that aside. And now we want to give this a grinding of nutmeg. A little bit of nutmeg really just kind of boosts that flavor. And a little bit of salt. And that's all there is to this. Then you mix this up. And now you fill your ramekins. Look at how nice and smooth that is. So here are our ramekins, and I'm going to use a little measuring cup to fill those. So fill them almost to the top, and you want your oven on at 325 degrees, preheated. Do one more here because this will make 4 to 6, depending on the size of your ramekins. A little bit there. Okay, and then you have to do one last thing. And what you have to do is bake these in a bagno Maria. And that means adding some water. So you want to put some hot water in a bake pan with the ramekins. Make sure the water comes, about halfway up the sides. Don't go over the top or you'll really be in trouble. And these go into a 325-degree oven until they are set. And you'll know that by putting a cake tester in there and testing to see if they come out clean. And before you came over, I made some for you. So take a look at those. Aren't they beautiful? And let me show you what you do with that. First, you say a prayer because you got to get them out. Just kidding, because it should be fairly easy to do. So here's one of the ones we did in our little ramekin, and here's one that we did in the little metal cup that you can get from the grocery store. So you go around the edge very, very gently. I was a little hard on that first one, wasn't I? So you go around the edge to loosen this. You want to make sure that these are going to come out. And then there are several ways you can serve them. I'll show you 2 ways that I like. You get out a little salad dish, because after all, this is for an individual serving. And take one and shake it out. So beautiful. This is what happens when you pray. Okay, and then you can either serve it with a little bit of balsamic vinegar, because after all, we are in the region of Emilia-Romagna. Here we have some arugula, some radicchio, some romagna. Put a little bit of salt, a little bit of extra virgin olive oil. I'm just going to eyeball that. And toss that. Then you want to put a little bit of balsamic vinegar in with this. Just a little, because this has a pretty strong taste. And we're using commercial balsamic vinegar. This is what you would use for salads. We're not using the really good 25-year-old or even older balsamic vinegar. And then you can go around your plate, you see, with the greens. Just making a beautiful presentation with the greens.